I can't really move forward with my buyer until I know we're good on our end with you. Welcome to part 2 in this video series where you get to look over my shoulder and watch me attempt to wholesale a house start to finish in 1 week. And the clock is ticking. This is actually day 2, which means I have 5 days left to wholesale this house. Can I do it? I don't know, time will tell. So make sure you join me on this exciting and a little scary journey. On this part 2 video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I locked up the deal, including the paperwork, earnest money, opening escrow, and everything to make the acquisition side of this deal legit and legal. And just like in video 1, I'll explain everything that's happening so you can see the whole process of wholesaling a house beginning to end. All of that and more coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Motivated Seller Scripts so you can talk to, email, and text sellers with confidence. Download it now at freesellerscripts.com.
If you're new here to this channel, I'm Jerry Norton with FlippingMastery.com, and this channel is all about ways to help you make money wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. This is a house in El Mirage, Arizona, and as of right now, I officially have this house locked up for $100,000 with a $3,000 non-refundable earnest money deposit. And here's the kicker. I agreed to close this deal in 1 week. So this has to close a week from today?
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can make it happen. I guess you could say I live dangerously. After all, I do have 9 kids, so there must be some crazy going on around here. Well, all of that I covered in video part 1. If you missed it and you'd like to see how I found the deal and how I analyzed the numbers to get to my desired wholesale buy price, and if you'd like to see me on the phone where I negotiated and verbally got my offer accepted, then be sure to watch part 1 of this video series. I'll put the link to that in the description below. On this part 2 video, I'd like to pick up where we left off on part 1. At the end of part 1, I verbally got the wholesaler to agree to send me over the paperwork. Now, when it comes to real estate, a deal isn't a deal until you get it in writing, and even then things can go wrong. But my first priority is to get this deal under contract. So the wholesaler followed through on what he said, and about an hour later, he sent me over his assignment contract via DocuSign, which is a digital signature software. What's nice about it is right on my computer, I can electronically sign it, so there's no printing and scanning, none of that. Now, on this particular deal, since I'm getting the deal from a wholesaler, he is sending me his assignment contract, which we'll look at in a minute, so keep watching, but that's not always the case. If I were dealing directly with a private seller, I would be responsible for creating a purchase and sale agreement, and when I secure my cash buyer, I would also be responsible for creating the assignment contract. If I were buying an on-market deal, the agent would be using their paperwork as that's part of their job. By the way, yes, you can wholesale on-market properties. Most people don't know that. I did a video all about it, link in the description. My point is this, as a wholesaler, you have to get familiar and comfortable with the paperwork. That's why my FLIPSTER deal management system has both a private seller purchase and sale agreement as well as an assignment contract. My FLIPSTER system walks you through how to fill it out, and it tracks and saves all of your paperwork on all of your offers and your deals, and you have digital signature technology, so you can just email it directly to a seller or your cash buyer and they can sign it electronically. These contracts come standard with FLIPSTER, and if you've never heard of FLIPSTER, it's a cloud-based all-inclusive wholesaling and house flipping deal management system to help you organize, streamline, and automate all of the steps to wholesaling and flipping houses. To check it out and see it in action, just go to getflipster.com. Okay, so let's take a look at the paperwork. I asked the wholesaler to send me both his assignment contract and his original purchase and sale agreement with the seller. Remember, an assignment is assigning the original contract, so it's critical that you see that original contract with the seller so you are aware of the terms you are agreeing to. Now, I gotta tell you, I have never seen a more simple purchase and sale agreement as this one. Take a look. Up here it has the street address, it says buyer and then the wholesaler's name, and then it says or assignee. That means he'll buy the house in his name or whoever he assigns it to. In this case, I'm the assignee. Now, another way to say this is buyer name followed by and or assigns. Then it says seller name, and then it says seller does hereby agree to sell the property to, and then the buyer name. Now, check this out. Buyer will pay $96,000 for the aforementioned property. The buyer agrees to pay all fees for escrow, auto loan policy, homeowner policy, and recording fees, and to otherwise abide by the terms and conditions of the contract. So this basically says that buyer will pay all of the closing fees, which is standard when wholesaling. Then it says, by signing this contract, buyer also agrees that there is no inspection period and there is no contingencies whatsoever after escrow has been opened no later than 5 p.m. on and then the date. So there aren't any contingencies. I normally ask for a 10-day inspection contingency. Now I did a video explaining why and how to get a seller to agree to that. Link in the description, but this wholesaler didn't have that. Okay, next it says, buyer shall deposit $100 as non-refundable earnest money. Now, this is a really low amount and really smart. With private sellers, I normally do $10 to $100. That means if the deal falls apart, the seller would keep his earnest money and the wholesaler only risked $100. After that, it lists the contact info for the title company, and then it simply ends with, buyer and seller agree that close of escrow shall occur on or before, and then the date, and that's it. Now, although really simple, it has all of the key ingredients: price, no contingencies, closing date, buyer pays closing fees, and the earnest money. So there's nothing in this original contract that is of concern or worry for me. So now let's jump over and take a look at the assignment contract. But before we do, remember on video part 1, I told this wholesaler that I may have a buyer. I wanted to make sure he was okay, that I might wholesale his wholesale, and he was. Now, I like to be 100% transparent, and I wanted him to know that. So I told him that the assignment needed to be assignable so that I could assign my rights to the contract. So you see here on this assignment contract, it put my entity name, and then it says nominee, parentheses, assignee. That language now allows me to assign my assignment. Now, this may sound complicated, but it's really not. When I'm ready to wholesale to my buyer, I will use an assignment to assign my assignment, which is assigning the original contract with the seller. Now, they call this a daisy chain. In fact, I did a video where I share a 4-way wholesale deal that I did. To get a better idea how this can happen, be sure to watch that video, link in the description. So back to our assignment contract. It says this agreement is made between my entity or nominee assignee and Rudy, the assignor, the wholesaler. So the wholesaler, Rudy or Randy, I don't know what it is referred to as the assignor. Then it says, whereas assignor entered into a sale and purchase agreement for the purchase of subject property, and whereas assignor wishes to assign its rights and interest in the sale and purchase agreement, it is hereby agreed between assignor and assignee as follows. So again, assignor is the wholesaler, assignee is me. Assignee shall pay a total amount of $100,000. Remember, the original contract was for $96,000. Closing to take place per the original assigned contract, COE, which stands for close of escrow, and then it has the date, which is exactly 1 week or before. Number 2, non-refundable deposit to be made by no later than, and then the date was the following day by 5 p.m. So it gave me 1 day to pay the deposit. Continuing, it says, in the amount of $3,000 by check or bank wire, which I sent a wire. Number 3, this agreement may be executed in counterpart. Number 4, taxes, rent, and rent securities, if applicable, shall be prorated at the time of closing and paid by the seller. So it's vacant, so there aren't any rents to worry about. But prorated taxes means that if there are any prorated taxes owed, the seller owes up until the day of closing. Now make sure it says that because you or your buyer don't want to be responsible for unpaid property taxes. Then it says buyer pays all escrow closing costs and any HOA transfer docs, capital fees pertaining to the escrow that the seller hasn't already agreed to pay in the original purchase contract. So all of the other closing fees are paid by the buyer, which was also in the original contract. Then it lists who's going to handle the closing. This is really important because the closing company needs to be wholesaler friendly, and you want to have that spelled out in your original contract with the seller and in your assignment contract to make sure your closing goes smoothly. Now, I did a video all about why you need a wholesaler-friendly title company and how to find one, link in the description. Next, it says escrow company is directed to keep assignor privacy to pertinent transaction communication and supply final settlement sheet to both assignor and assignee. Now, this is to protect all of the parties and not disclose things that don't need disclosed, like telling the seller there are 2 wholesalers involved or things like that. Now, a good wholesaler-friendly title company knows that already. Next, it says disclosures and acknowledgement. Assignor and affiliated associates make no warranty, expressed or implied, regarding inspection reports or other reports provided to assignee by assignor or third parties concerning the property. Assignee is advised to independently verify the accuracy of all information contained in reports regarding the property. Now, I really like this clause because it's waiving all liability from the wholesaler, and I think I'm going to actually add this clause to my assignment contract. Finally, it has one more clause. Assignee acknowledges they are conducting a transaction dealing directly with assignor for the purchase of subject property. Assignee is not relying upon or being represented by a real estate brokerage in the transaction. In other words, there are no agents involved. And that's it. Pretty simple and pretty straightforward. And again, if you'd like to access my digital purchase and sale agreement and my digital assignment contract, be sure to check out FLIPSTER. Just go to getflipster.com. So I went ahead and signed the assignment contract and then immediately had my admin call the title company to get the info to wire my $3,000 earnest money, and we ran into our first minor snag. The escrow agent told me that the buyer slash wholesaler slash assignor, Rudy or Randy, didn't pay his $100 earnest money deposit yet, and until she has that, he doesn't technically have a binding contract with the seller, and as such, she cannot accept my earnest money from me. So he said, I'll get down there in the morning and I'll pay the earnest money deposit. Now, this made me a little nervous. I was worried he might be playing games. After all, his purchase and sale contract was pretty flimsy, and now he didn't pay his earnest money yet. So the following morning, my admin called title, and they still hadn't received his earnest money, and it was like 11 a.m. Remember, I've got 7 days to find a buyer, and here we are on day 2, and I don't even have a legit contract in place. So I got him back on the phone to find out what the heck is going on. Take a listen. So Randy, here's the deal. I got a really tight window to get this deal done, and I'm now on day, I got 6 days right now, and we don't have a contract really in place until I can get my earnest money in.
Yes, I'm literally I'm outside the building trying to find the right, there's like 5 buildings here. I'm trying to find the right one.
So you're there to pay it.
And I'm literally texting her what building.
All right, I just want to make sure we're on track, because I got to hustle to get this deal done. I can't really move forward with my buyer until I know we're good on our end with you.
I'm 4 buildings away. My check's in my hand. She'll have it in the next like 8 minutes.
Okay, can you text me a picture of your check too, so I have that? All right, thanks for the update. Just wanted to make sure we're on track. Now, I'm sure you noticed I was a little blunt with him, not rude, but I did want him to know that I can't do a deal without a contract in place, and he's holding me up. But he came through, and as soon as he got his $100 earnest money turned in, I immediately wired my $3,000 earnest money. Once that happened, I was officially under contract. Now, I've got 6 days to find a buyer. That's not very much time. I normally like to have 30 days to close, so I have plenty of time to find a buyer. So leave a comment and say, Jerry, I'm praying your deal works out and you make money. Remember, when you bless others, blessings come back to you. So stay tuned. On the next video, I'm going to share what happens with the buyer, how we close the deal, how much we make, and any obstacles along the way. Remember, all of the videos in this series are in the description box below. And if you like this style of hands-on video training, like this video, leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. With hundreds of videos and new videos released every week, this is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things wholesaling and flipping. And I'll see you on the next video.